Stay tuned for Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis, a leading financial retirement strategist and the founder of Sudis Financial and Insurance Solutions, right here in Fresno. Every week, Dale discusses pressing financial topics of the week, ranging from reliable income strategies to our financial markets, including Social Security, tax strategies, wealth management, RMDs, legacy planning, long-term care solutions, and most importantly, how to make sure you have enough guaranteed lifetime income to retire your way with choice and dignity. From taxes to trends to total transparency, Dale covers it all. And now, here is Retire Your Way and Dale Sudis. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis of Sudis Financial right here in California. Mr. Dale Sudis, how are you? Oh, come on. Shush, people. We have a lot to get to today. Come on. Dale, how you doing this week?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. You still get a chuckle out of it, huh? What have you and the wife been up to? Where have you been?
Oh, well, we took a trip out to Vermont. She wanted to see the leaves. I did too, and
Nice.
it was beautiful. It was kind of comical because, it's the area we ended up was a very touristy area that we soon avoided. But even on the news, everybody's called a leaf peeper, all these visitors, and it was just kind of cute. Oh, we're leaf peepers, and but we took a side road and just drove up, and even got onto dirt roads and going back. It was so beautiful, and then some of the little day trips we took 2 hours away from where we were at. And, again, just the drive alone was gorgeous.
Wonderful. Well, good to
Lots of
have you
fun.
back. Everybody's got
Yep.
to unplug and recharge and kind of appreciate the changing of all the seasons. Throughout today's program, I'd like to talk a little bit about the inflation hangover that seems to be looming over everyone's heads. The Fed has been patting themselves on the back saying inflation is lower. I think we've seen the number lower. We've just gotten the numbers on the Social Security cost of living adjustment for next year. But then I also read something about the Medicare adjustment as well, meaning the increase. So we'll see if these cost of living adjustments help you keep pace with inflation. What do you do about it with the inflation hangover still hitting you at the grocery store and your monthly spend, and how exactly we can pay attention to that. So we'll do that throughout today's program. But as you know, I always like to know, who have you been helping recently? Or more.
Well, first of all,
yeah.
I don't have a hangover. I don't know why we're going to be talking about a hangover.
Yes, you do. I can hear it. You got to lay off.
Yeah.
You got to lay off that.
Lay off the leaves.
Yeah, lay off that
pretty
juniper. So you
leaves.
got a leaf hangover. Exactly. You got a
Maple.
fall hangover.
Maple syrup.
Yes. Did you actually try that out there?
Oh yeah, it was really neat. Even though right there was Ben and Jerry's, their main, first factory, the soft ice cream that they serve all around, they even had maple soft ice cream, but
Wow.
they call that creamies. So you get a maple creamy, or you get a chocolate creamy, or a vanilla creamy. It was pretty cool. So oh
Nice.
yeah, we had fun. It was a lot of good times. So yes, inflation, that could give
The
everybody
inflation
a hangover.
but exactly. But I think you also wanted to talk about, because you were getting a couple of calls, a couple of questions on who exactly do you help? And then,
Oh, yeah.
that's a fair question. I've actually been getting that as work with folks like yourselves all around the country, Dale, and people are saying, sometimes I need to remind people what a financial advisor is, what I do, who do you help, who do you maybe not help? Maybe give me a little background on that again, if you don't mind.
Well, yeah, it actually came up recently, and seeing some people earlier this week, basically. It amazes me at times, because I've had people as young, just starting out. They're just starting their career. So what do you recommend? They don't have anything to invest. I'm not going to make a dime off of them, but I don't mind helping them know, well, as you start working, this is a good way to save. Like, use the Roth 401ks, use the tax-free type vehicles, giving them advice that can help them way down the road. Then I had recently, from one of our clients, nicely brought in her mother, and it was great. And the mother said, well, I never thought, we needed to, had enough money to, need help with a financial advisor, could even get any help because we don't have that much money. Yet there were some practical things we could point her how to do, and some things that could improve their situation, and so on. I mean, you get, her and dad are, up there, and so the what if he passes away? How does that change income? How do I keep going? Different things, different strategies there. So there was some real practical help, and we'll be getting back together because there's some things that they can benefit by. Then I had, at the same time, I had a couple. I mean, well, anyway, you get a variety of people coming in, is what I want to say. And it doesn't cost a dime to know what your options are. And it doesn't matter how many times we visit. I don't have to make a dime. I don't have to make money off of everybody I see. I mean, if I just coach people properly, I take care of people properly, I know what happens. They will tell others how mean and ornery, I mean, how we operate. And then, that it all works out in the end. I don't, if you take care of people the way they're supposed to be taken care of, you don't worry about the money, right? Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
absolutely. Now, is this also the person you were talking about who said they didn't think they could reach out to a financial advisor because they didn't think they had enough money? I mean,
They didn't see that that they could
yeah,
benefit. They didn't think they would, bother a financial advisor because they don't have enough money. But it's like, no, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You have questions when it comes to your retirement and your income, and how things can be, down the road if changes come up. It could be regarding long-term care, but it could be even the death of a spouse. How's that going to affect our income? Am I going to be able to keep going with what I have, even if I think it's very little? So those are good questions to, have somebody bounce it off of, and have some help, get tips
yeah.
on what to do.
Can you
It's
give me
just
kind of a
practical.
relative age here of mom who came in? About how old was she?
Well, she's only 29, of course.
Hmm.
I think dad is still in his, I'm going to say late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
So,
And they had never
yeah,
really done retirement financial planning before.
no, no. And so it's now at the point where we want to, see, well, what would happen, and how do we make sure things are situated? Sometimes it's just a matter, do we really need a trust? I mean, it was amazing when I asked her what her address was, because she was saying her home was worth, very little. And both the daughter and I looked at her like, what? And when we looked it up, it was worth over 2 times what she thought it was worth. Because, who thinks about what their house is worth when you're happy living where you're at, right?
Well, but that it is also a good point, though, Dale. I mean, a lot of people will put their home or their real estate inside what their net worth is, and if you're going to continue to live in it, is that really an asset that you put it? That's not something you put into your income category because you're living in it.
No, no, it just, yeah, it's your home.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
home. So, and that's part of the inflation hangover as well, is that costs continue to go up. So, a lot of folks might take out as a line item having to pay their mortgage into retirement, but what other costs do we have with something like real estate, Dale, when we're going into retirement? Does the home cost completely go away?
No, even if it's paid for, you still have insurance and taxes, you have maintenance, repairs, you have things like that. Um, things break down, you got to replace HVAC unit or whatever it is, right? So you have to maintain and keep your home there, keep it going, maybe paint it once in a while.
Yeah. Well, as you
It.
were gallivanting around the East Coast
Mhm.
with your wife on your anniversary, you're allowed to have some time off too. There was, of course, another set of natural disasters that were happening down in the Florida area. Thankfully, not over here on the West Coast. But these increases that are happening to insurance companies, in fact, insurance companies doing their own actuaries on home repairs, automobile repairs, it tends to send up the prices of insurance across the country. It's not just something that affects the Florida area. Is this something that we
Correct.
want to evaluate every year?
Well,
Now,
yes.
even with the house paid off, could our insurance be going up?
Well, as many of us here in California know, more and more companies are not or, some companies completely left California insurance
Yep.
wise, not health, homeowners insurance, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then others are raising the prices so high because there's a lot of areas that are, fire hazards. And so it's getting harder and higher cost. So again, it's not just that things are, here and there, the normal things are going up in price, but sometimes the things that we don't think, like insurance, it's a steady thing. But the more we use insurance, obviously, the more they need to ask premiums, because it's just a big pool of money. So yeah, we've got to be mindful of all those things that can hit us even unexpectedly. That needs to be part of our plan to build inflation into our income plan.
Well, that's why we want to continue to talk about today's inflation hangover. The numbers of inflation have come down, but how is that helping with today's Social Security announcement on our cost of living adjustment for next year, along with the Medicare announcement on what that adjustment is going to be? Are these things helping you keep pace with inflation? Are you evaluating things like your home cost of inflation on the insurance? All of those different factors are things that can affect how long your nest egg will last in retirement. And if you're not sure how long it will last, let's help you come up with a retirement income plan that you can know that will be and stay consistent for you. Reliable income all the way throughout your retirement years and possibly for your spouse as well. 833-856-1382 is the phone number to dial. We have folks standing by right now who will schedule that appointment. There's no cost, just as Dale was saying 5-6 minutes ago. We just want to see if we can help you. We just want to see if there's anything we can do to maybe adjust your situation. And if you're doing great, Dale will pat you on the back. We'll say, keep doing what you're doing and let us know if you ever have any other questions. But if we can identify things right away, Dale will let you know what those are, and we'll decide if we want to move forward and help you be and stay retired in the way that you want to, with the lifestyle you want to. Call 833-856-1382 right now. No cost to sit down with Dale and his team. More Retire Your Way when we get back right after this.
Call Dale Sudas of Retire Your Way and Sudas Financial for your complimentary Retire Your Way review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale Sudas and the entire team of retirement professionals at Sudas Financial invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement planning session. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans from your savings that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your own retirement planning session, complimentary for our valued radio listeners. 833-856-1382. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees, and risks, or how to produce ongoing income that lasts your entire retirement? Then call Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial to schedule your own comprehensive retirement planning session. No cost to our valued radio listeners. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial. If you want to get your own no-cost income plan done for you, give us a call. Do it right now. Folks are standing by. 833-856-1382. Dale, the inflation hangover that I was discussing a few minutes ago, there's a lot of folks even who have saved well, and they're not certain if they're going to be able to be and stay retired, if they have enough in resources. 89% today of retired Americans are deeply concerned about inflation eroding away their assets and their income. Have you experienced anybody like that recently walking through your doorway?
Yeah, in fact, the same week that I had the daughter and mom come in about, we don't have that much. I never thought we could benefit by a financial planner. And but I had another couple come back who we're working with, and they're very concerned about being able to continue. Where do we really stand? And again, for all you out there that keep listening to our show, thank you. I keep running into ones who say they regularly hear our show, and I really appreciate that. We want to, I certainly want to give you good advice and give you tips, but this one, it just kind of, I could see the concern. many others that I've seen. But the concern, are we okay financially? Are we going to be able to do these things that we want to do? And, it could be that people want to sell the farm here and move to the coast or move to a different state or whatever. Can we do that? And what if the house where we're going is going to cost a whole lot more than what we can get out of our house here? Can we do it? And do we have enough money that it will last? And that was pretty much, this example. And it was like, okay, I saw what they had, and they had a substantial amount saved in a variety of ways, and not only tax deferred, but they had a good amount saved, uh, let's say in the bank. In other words, liquid money. And so I showed them. They filled out the budget sheet. I saw what they need. I saw what they want to do, to have fun in retirement. So even in the planning software, as I dialed in their plan, I increased, their starting goal of what they need, because if they move to another area, I said, let's say it's going to cost, much more. And then second of all, we did the play check, as we call it. I doubled it. Instead of, let's say instead of 500, I made it 1,000, or if 1,000, I made it 2,000 a month to do all the fun things they want to do. And I built in inflation with those, so that through the wife's age 100, how would it, would their money last? And there's a concern. Do we need to still work, And I was kind of in my head thinking, seeing what they had saved, I'm thinking, why would they be concerned about that? They had quite a bit saved. And so I just dialed in the plan, roughed it out for them, showed them, look, you'll be okay. In fact, at her age 100, you're going to have millions left over, and
Wow.
so you have a lot of flexibility in your plan through the years. So is what that means to me. You could do more than what you've been saying you want to do, even though I've doubled your play check, as
So
I
they
call
could
it. So
they could afford to spend 4 times as much per month if they wanted to. They could go crazy with their retirement plan if they wanted to. Or are they very conservative spenders together as a couple, or did they just not realize how long that money would actually last on their current spend?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like everybody thinks, I've saved up this, but will it really last
Mm-hmm.
throughout retirement? And, if you get ones coming in their, 50s wanting to retire early, or if you get ones coming in closer to 70 or whatever, or already 70-ish, it doesn't matter. They're always worried about, will my money last? And I love showing them, here's how you can see clearly your income will last. It'll keep up with or even beat inflation, and you'll have plenty left over. And some, don't even have ones to leave the money to. So I'm trying to find ways to tell them, well, why don't you spend more? If you take my wife and I on trips with you if you want.
Or
So,
charitable giving if they want to. They
exactly.
can give to their community, and actually that creates more tax efficiency in their plan. The
Right,
thing is,
and
these
yeah.
folks aren't alone. 88% today of retirees are unsure about effective ways to generate income from their investments. So there's a very fine line between this. You can add up what you've got, Dale. They can add up, as you said, millions, and divide that by how many months of spend they're going to have and how long they think they might live. But how to actually turn those assets into income, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother ballpark.
Well, and rightly they're concerned, this one with, a goodly amount, oodles or gobs, as I like saying.
Your technical
Um,
terms.
my technical terms. The thing is, the concern is, well, a lot of it's a good portion was invested where it can fluctuate on the market, and things have been relatively okay for a while. So, but what if the election, or what if something else happens? And how do we smooth it out? So I'm showing them there are ways to limit the risk and make sure you have the income you need as well. And going back to your charitable contribution thing,
Mhm.
I keep telling people I'm looking into making Sudas Financial, a charitable
Oh,
place.
stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. Well, then we need to come up with a church or something like that. So the Church of Dale, you're going to have to do your financial sermons every week.
Yeah. No. Let's pass on all that.
To get your complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
No, Dale is joking. Dale is joking here. But it can make your plan more efficient, especially
Yeah.
tax efficient with the giving for a charitable cause.
Well, especially if you don't need the money. Oh, that happens regularly. People don't need the RMDs, required minimum distributions, out of their retirement accounts. Okay, in fact, had another lady. She's just turning 73 this year, so she's got multiple IRAs and stuff. So, and like others, I say, okay, if you have charities, why not? If you don't need that for income, you don't need to survive on it, which I have ones like her that they don't have the kids, they don't have, the expenses, and they've got oodles and gobs of money, so they don't need it, but they have to take it out. So instead of taking it out and then giving it to a charity, then you're taxed on it. Why not have your custodian who holds that retirement money make the check out to your charity? You give it to the charity, it'll get to you, in your hand. You give it to the charity, and you've met the minimum distribution, but you do not pay a penny tax on it. So there's some neat strategies even that way for those of you who don't need your RMDs, but well, we got to take it. So there's a lot of different strategies that can be used. And again, doesn't matter if you have a lot or little money. You're not going to offend us by coming in and saying, hey, this is what I have. I'm not sure about this or that or the other, and let's put our heads together.
Yeah. Which situation would you say would hopefully get somebody to react, pick up the phone, write you more, not being sure of how they can be tax efficient, or not being sure how to turn their investments into income? Because again, there's a big difference between just drawing from your accounts and taking money out, or turning those accounts or partial of those accounts into an actual income stream. It's actually leveraging that. If I've got $1,000 and I spend $1 a day, eventually in 1,000 days, I'm going to run out of money, right? But there is a way that you can take a portion of it, let's say 500 of it or $250 of it, and put it into an agreement that's got growth, and you can actually not run out of that $250 as long as you're alive. That's the difference from drawing and turning it into income. And I think that's a big philosophical leap from going from your savings years to your retirement years.
Yeah, and think about it this way. I've seen many, even with the millions that they have, and they're thinking, well, we just draw off of this, and that you can.
Sure.
But what if you just use a small portion to set up an additional guaranteed stream of income for you and your spouse? Much like a pension, much like Social Security, something that you can't outlive and that has ability to keep up or beat inflation over the years as well. Then once your income plan is just solid, you can pay the bills, you can play, you can do all these things, and even you'll have more than enough to keep yourselves out of a nursing home. You have a care check built into your plan. Then, how do you feel at that point? Well, you feel good. Now, the other money that you don't need to use for income, you've got a lot of flexibility. You can, help out the kids more. You could do more traveling or whatever the fun things you want to do in retirement. So I can't stress enough. Just know what your options are. You're all smart enough to figure out this makes more sense. Not everybody's going to use the same strategies, but know what strategies are available.
And if you don't know what strategies are available to the life savings that you have, give us a call. You can sit down with Dale and his team, and he'll show you what they are. There's no cost to that. There's no obligation. It's just a conversation to see where you're at, what are the possibilities, and does it seem like one of those possibilities might work for you? Financial planning, especially going into retirement, it's completely different than just through your savings and workings years. Those are your accumulation years. Now we need to work on your decumulation strategy. If you don't have one, give us a call, 833-856-1382. No cost for our radio listeners to sit down with financial advisor Dale Sudas, founder of Sudas Financial right here in California, and the Grandmaster host of Retire Your Way. We'll be back with more Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas right after this.
How do you know if you're retirement ready? That's a question many people ask themselves as they approach their golden years. We believe the answer can be complex and depends on many factors, such as your savings, monthly expenses, and lifestyle goals. At Sudas Financial, we can help you determine if you're retirement ready. We'll work with you to assess your financial situation, identify any potential income gaps, and develop a customized plan that aligns with your goals. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Call us today to learn how we can help you work towards achieving financial security and peace of mind in retirement. Call Dale Sudas and the team at Sudas Financial for your complimentary retirement readiness review. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Inflation has risen to the highest level in over 40 years, according to the April 2022 U.S. Inflation Calculator. Will your investments provide you the income you need in retirement? Are you losing purchasing power of your savings to inflation? Simply stated, if the daily cost of goods and services is 8% higher and you are earning 4% in your investments, that money buys you less of what you need. Right now is the time to act to be certain you have an income strategy that overcomes the effects of inflation. Get your own complimentary retirement income review by calling Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial and retire your way, 833-856-1382. You might have the savings you need today to weather this storm, but how will inflation affect your nest egg 5, 10, or 15 years from now? Discover the peace of mind you deserve. Call and ask for your complimentary, no obligation, retirement income review from Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Call Dale Sudas at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial right here in California. If you want to learn more about Dale and the team, not just listen to him as a financial advisor on the radio, you can go to his website, sudas.com. SOUTAS.com. You can actually write him directly as well. We always encourage you to send in your own questions. Write him at dale@sudas.com. That's Dale and the at symbol, SOUTAS.com. All right, you and I were quibbling over the break there. Cost of living adjustment on Social Security is going to be 2.5% for next year. Okay? I was about to do an applause there, but your Medicare is going up 5.9%. So that's 5.9%, as you were pointing out, on, let's say, the baseline. What is that, $174.50?
Yeah, 175 basically.
175. So that's probably going to go up to 185, 186 almost. But your Social Security going up 2.5%. Does this cover your increase on Medicare, or are we going backwards on the cost of living adjustment?
Well, it depends on how big your Social Security is, right?
Ah, okay.
So if you're getting $2,000 a month, 2.5 times 2,000 is, more than 10 or $11.
More than that.
So,
Thank you for doing the rough math on the air. Somebody in their car is doing that.
Well, because I don't have open-toed shoes on right now. So.
Oh, I'm wearing your Birkenstocks today? You California financial advisor? I can't believe it. Yeah.
No, it's cold, so I put socks on before I put
Oh, gosh. I don't want to picture that. You in Birkenstocks and your black socks. Come on.
That's how Californians deal with the weather.
Well, that's right.
The cold weather.
That's right. But so there is a cost of living adjustment, and it's based on the consumer price index, and there's one subtraction from it. I think it's on the daily goods. So that is about what our Fed has been saying inflation was throughout the year. But is that cost of living adjustment on Social Security, if you're on the more conservative side, is that going to help you fight today's inflation hangover? Is that going to help you keep up with the costs of goods that have gone up, Dale?
Well, I mean, obviously the last couple of years, things have gone up a whole lot more than 2.5%. So having a 2.5% increase is nice, but it's not really probably keeping up with what one's need and the increased costs here. So I know when we were in Vermont, my wife was surprised that when we went to fill up the rental car, how cheap gas was out there compared to
Oh
California.
gosh.
So,
What was it? What was it?
oh, it's like $3.
Okay. All right.
You know, it's low three,
Mm-hmm.
320 or something. And anyway, it just, the how do you deal with inflation? Bottom line.
Right.
Social Security may not through the years increase enough to keep up with what you need. And if you don't have other sources of income, then how do you create additional income that can keep up with inflation, that can, hopefully beat inflation for you?
Yeah. There's a lot of folks out there who hopefully are listening to the program who might still be in their working years. And there's a lot you can do. You can maximize your catch up contributions. You could possibly consider working another year or two more. The year or two more means you're not drawing from those retirement accounts. Maybe you're not turning on your Social Security. There are things you can do. But Dale, for those who are already retired, how do we help them beat the inflation hangover? Do we have to take more risk in our portfolios? Or maybe we can discuss optimizing Social Security, because for those who've already turned it on, there aren't really a lot of leverage you can pull on Social Security, but there might be things we can do with taxes.
There can be some things. I just helped a longtime client.
Mm-hmm.
He started Social Security when he was at full retirement age. His wife's a bit younger, and she had started hers at some point, but now she's past full retirement age. So I encouraged him to have her just go and reapply Social Security off of his record, which should bring her up to half of his, which is, a whole lot more than she's getting off of her own record. So that would be a way how to strategize your Social Security is one method. The other would be not just inflation, but how do we, whether we're retired or getting close to retirement, how do we position some of that tax deferred money, our 401ks, 403bs, stuff that we saved, and it's all a big tax bomb now? How do we possibly get Uncle Sam out of that money by doing like Roth conversions strategically and pay the tax on it now when we know tax rates are low? And then when we pull money from those sources, especially if we use some of that Roth converted money for guaranteed income, now that's tax-free the rest of your life. Okay. So there's some, because you got to keep in mind, it's not just inflation, but taxes likely will go up, which is kind of like an inflation because it's taking away from what you have to spend on. So, how do you maximize your tax planning as well as have inflation built into your income plan? It's very important to do that. Don't just count on, some people don't even have COLAs, as they call it, cost of living increases in their pensions. And even if they do, how much is it going up by? 2%, 3%? What if, our inflation 1 or 2 years is 5 or 6 or more, how are we going to keep up? So we've got to have systems to build into that.
Yeah. And that Social Security that you're talking about there, whether it's the cost of living adjustment or making sure that you can take it efficiently, or that your spouse is taking it, efficiently as well, the taxes on it are something that always seems to come up with you. And that this is one of the ways that you can optimize the Social Security. You can let it grow until 68, 69, or 70, or you can, if you have already turned it on, find tax efficient ways of creating those tax-free income streams. But there's a little bit of work that goes into that. And now I ask you to put on your tax hat. What's more important in optimizing your Social Security? When you take it, or how efficient you are with your tax strategy?
Yeah. So I've had this happen many times where people are looking at, okay, I'm going to, retire at this point, and I can start Social Security early here. But then they have their tax bomb, as they call it, their 401ks and IRAs and such that are, all taxable, every penny they take out. And they've got substantial savings in addition to that. And so I show them, well, instead of starting Social Security, why don't we supplement your income, even if you don't have a pension or Social Security coming in, you are retired. Why don't we set your income? We have some money where we, direct income into your bank account, just like it's a Social Security or a pension, taxes withheld if needed. But at the same time, before you take Social Security, by keeping your income lower, you can convert more of your tax bomb, right? Convert more of that
Yeah.
IRA 401k money to Roth IRAs, and then turn income on down the road and turn your Social Security and such on. Because if you start doing the Roth conversions while you're taking Social Security, and maybe you've already started Social Security, so you can't undo it, but you're increasing the amount of your Social Security that gets taxed, and you're reducing the amount if we want to keep under a certain tax bracket when we do the Roth conversions. There's some neat strategies there for people when you're looking at, okay, I'm getting close to, or I'm retired, should I turn my Social Security on yet or not? Well, the whole picture needs to be looked at. And again, if we can get Uncle Sam out of your contracts, because I've got $1 million saved in IRAs, great, whoop-de-doo. 401ks, whoop-de-doo. Try to close that account, put it in your bank account, see how much you really have. Uncle Sam is your partner. People don't realize that. So again, we need to coach our children, our grandchildren. Here's how you save for your future. Use the Roth, pay tax today, have it grow without paying tax on the growth, tax deferred, but in the future, that money's tax free. And along the way, even before they're 59 and a half, they can still reach in and take the money that's Roth that they put into it out without penalty or taxes, because they already pay taxes on it. They just can't play with the growth on their Roth money until 59 and a half and such.
Get your comprehensive, complimentary Retire Your Way review by calling 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
I think as some of you who have been longtime listeners to Dale's radio show know that one of his nicknames is Mr. Controversial. So Mr. Controversial here, you're saying, everybody knows this. That is one of your big nicknames. Just like Rocket Man is also one of your nicknames. But Mr. Controversial is that we're telling younger folks right now about not saving tax deferred. And this is a total mind shift. And there's a lot of folks who are fighting it and thinking that it's actually either self-serving or it's serving to the government. No, it's about creating tax-free income for yourself down the road. But there are some people who say, well, if you're telling me to pay my taxes right now, it's going straight over the government, and I'm not a fan of that. No, you don't understand. You're creating tax-free savings for yourself, and that growth. Think about doing that for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. For the younger folks who might be listening to the program, think of how much you like to have in growth. But for what about somebody who's even 5 years away from retirement? Is it worth it starting a Roth account right now to let that grow for the next 4 or 5 years?
I've had several where, yes, I've coached them, go ahead and max out your Roth 401ks and such. But again, it depends on the whole picture. But there's a slide we show when we put on the Fresno State workshop. And it basically, the question is, would you rather pay tax on $155,000 or on $1.1 million? Okay.
I think I know the answer to that question myself.
Yeah, you better know the answer. But most of the time, people are doing the opposite. Most of the time, people are setting themselves up to pay tax on the 1 million plus.
Yeah. Or I don't know, maybe we got to start posing it in classrooms like this. Would you rather pay tax on what you owe for $50,000 that you earned this year? Or would you rather pay tax on that $1.1 million totally in your retirement? And I'm like, I think if you posed it that way, it might simplify things. But where people go to save is they think, oh, tax deferred. I don't have to pay taxes this year. That's the way I want to go. We've got to help reverse the thinking out there. And we know that it might be difficult, but folks, you don't have to teach your kids on your own, or you don't have to try to convince your spouse on your own. Give us a call. Let us help explain what tax-efficient strategies can do for you with a true financial advisor like Dale Sudas here of Sudas Financial. Call 833-856-1382 right now to sit down with Dale Sudas and his team. There's no cost to that. More of Dale Sudas and Retire Your Way when we get back right after this.
Do you know how you'll generate income from your investments along with your Social Security in retirement? In our opinion, it's never too early to start the income planning process for your future. An income plan can help you work towards creating a steady stream of income to support you throughout your retirement years. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Take control today and start income planning for your retirement. Call the team at Sutis Financial so we can help you design a complimentary written income plan to help you live the retirement you've always wanted. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sutis of Sutis Financial. You can call the phone number, as we say, every single week and get started on your own no-cost retirement income plan, 833-856-1382. Dale, as we've talked throughout today's program on the inflation hangover, it's been around that's a long hangover, 3 years of a hangover. I
don't have a hangover. What are you talking about?
Well, you don't, and hopefully you don't for your clients who you've been helping realize what these real numbers are. But there's a bit of a retirement gap that we're starting to see, and I'm worried it's going to get larger and larger and larger. As people have to spend more on their families, on insurance, on kids' activities,
food, gas,
all of it, across the board, that we're not saving enough for retirement. I got a couple of numbers I want to throw out to you if you don't mind. From a new retirement study, 55% of Americans are worried they won't ever achieve financial security for retirement. 79, almost 80% of Americans think that there is a retirement crisis in America. Mm-hmm. Is that too much of a word, crisis? How do you feel about that? Or do you think there's certainly retirement warnings that people should be aware of?
I think it's more worries. Okay. When you think about it, a lot of people, it's just, we also, the movie we encourage people to view, and we can give them their own copy of it, is the Baby Boomer Dilemma, which exposes retirement. America's retirement experiment is what it's really about. Again, because companies are not offering pensions, like they used to, because companies are offering more of the defined contribution plans like 401ks, 403bs and such, then now the burden of how to invest for your future is on your own shoulders, right? And a lot of those plans don't give you a ton of options. The government is encouraging to add certain types of tools into those so that you could provide additional guaranteed income, but that's a recent encouragement, recent recommendation, even from the government. But that Baby Boomer Dilemma movie really helps one understand, if you want to have a secure retirement, you don't want to be worried, there are simple ways you could do it. And it's not rocket science. It's very straightforward tools, financial tools that can be used ahead of time. And even once you're retired, you could use them to, secure your retirement. But yeah, a lot of people are concerned. They think they have to have, a whole lot of money saved up. But everybody, it's all relative to, well, what do you need to spend? To maintain your lifestyle takes income. You don't maintain your lifestyle because you got lumps of money sitting in different accounts, right? It's what you have regularly, where you can regularly have money coming in to not only pay the bills, but to do the fun things that you want to do or whatever's important to you. So lifestyle is determined by income.
Okay. Now there's some numbers I'm going to break down. For those who are driving around, try not to get too caught up in the numbers. I'll do them as large as I can here. But the number, we've said it many, many times, $1 million. Do you need that to retire? You just said it depends on your lifestyle and your spend. But just some relative ideas. A couple of different studies, independent resources, folks, you can look it up on the internet on your own if you like. Now say that a couple that reaches the age of 65 together will probably need close to $395,000 to spend on healthcare costs in retirement. That includes your copays, your pays, your premiums, your Medigaps, your gaps, all of those different coverages, and everything else that comes out of pocket, either from surgeries or for eye care. So if $1 million was the goal number, and now almost $400,000 of it is to healthcare, that means we're looking at $600,000 of it for everything else. Food, vacations, increase in inflation. This is why I wonder, from another study from Northwestern Mutual, do we need to start upping that number to maybe 1.5 or 1.7, or maybe even start talking about the $2 million retirement? What do you think about increasing the numbers, even though you say it comes to your monthly spend first? Should we be looking at a larger
Yeah.
bucket for retirement, Dale?
I mean, even the healthcare one, you're saying 400,000,
Mm-hmm,
whatever.
mm-hmm.
I think a big chunk of that scares people is the fact that, if they need care, that's what's going to, be the big health
Mm-hmm.
cost, right?
Yeah.
So having, knowing how to cover long-term care. And I'm not a big fan of the long-term care insurance. If you have it, don't worry. It should be looked at and included in your plan, but obviously. But there are easy ways to create additional income down the road that can keep you out of a nursing home. In other words, pay for in-home care, assisted living. So this need to save 1.5, 2 million, whatever. No. Keep in mind, you just said if you had $1 million and 300 used for that, and you got another 600 for all these normal expenses and such, what's not factored in is, well, how much Social Security are they getting? How much other income are they getting from pensions or rental and all that?
Good point.
So it's
Good
not
point.
like you're going to just use your whole dollars to exist. So
Thank you for pointing out how simple my brain is. You're right, though. I did not think about that as far as, even if the Social Security is another 20% or 30% or 40% boost.
Yeah. What if you have, you basically just have Social Security, maybe a small pension, but you've got multiple rentals and you got all this income coming in. Okay. Now, true, rental income isn't guaranteed lifetime income. So don't let anybody fool you, because something can happen to the building and you have to, you can't rent it for a while, or they, don't pay rent and it takes I don't even know how long to kick somebody out. But usually that's not the problem. But the point is, what do you need, to keep going? And I can't really emphasize it enough. I mean, I've had people with very little come in, and I've shown them, here's a simple way to make sure you don't worry about your money, your income. You can focus on the more important things, your family, the priorities in your life, and not, be stymied or, holding back because I don't think I have the money. No, I don't want you feeling that way. I mean, if your income will keep going, last as long as you keep up with inflation, you have money to goof off like you want to do, whatever the fun things, are important to you, then, again, it makes life a lot nicer, right? But when you're sitting there worried about, do I have enough? Will it last? Well, let's put our heads together. It doesn't cost a dime. Doesn't matter how many times you come in, sit down in front of me, leave your checkbook at home. You're not going to get a bill. That's not how we operate. If there's actually things we can do to help you, fine. You'll know exactly how we get paid from the different types of financial tools that we might use. But again, what if you just need a pat on the back to know, you're doing fine, or go tweak a little something here with your current, advisor. I don't care. Just, I don't want people worried about, down the road. And it's not the amount of money you've saved. It's all about you and what's important to you, right? Think
Yeah.
about it. I mean, I have people come in and literally, I can remember one couple, they had, saved quite a bit, but their nut, so to speak, what they needed month to month was like 20 grand. Okay, well, okay, I showed them, no problem. This is, you can have that. And then I have ones that they've saved gobs of money, oodles of money, and they are worried about, do they have enough? But they spend hardly anything. They spend less than $5,000 a month, or $3,000 a month, and no, their money's not going to run out. But they were worried about it. That's no way to live, is it?
No, not at all.
No.
And and when you're saying if you got, as you said, technically oodles of money, if they've got gobs of it, they probably had good working careers. So I mean, on $3,000 or $4,000 a month, their Social Security probably comes close to covering that. Where, as you said, for others who spend more on $15,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 a month, obviously you're going to go through your savings a lot faster. But there are ways to evaluate. And I'm not saying that you need to cut back never like really the word budget or budgeting, because that kind of feels like a diet, but maybe coming up with a spending plan to find out what you're spending efficiently and maybe what you're spending inefficiently. And this just takes, a second set of eyes, somebody who is agnostic to your situation, somebody who cares about your well-being, but who is maybe not as personal about your money and your situation. And if you've never had anybody evaluate, put together a real income spend plan, not a budget. I don't want you to feel like it's a diet, folks, but an income spending plan. Here's what we can spend every month and live like this for the next 25 or 30 years. Then do yourself a favor. Call the phone number, 833-856-1382. We'll get you started on your own income plan for retirement, or at least review where you're at. And Dale, like you've said, he'll talk to everybody. He'll talk to anybody. So if you're serious about retirement planning, if you're wondering about how to get started or to do a review, you'll talk to anybody. And let's especially talk to those folks out there right now who either feel like they don't have enough, or how much do they have to sit down with you? Is there a dollar amount for that, Dale?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. We don't advertise, okay, you got to have 200,000 to come and see us.
Yeah, I always hear those commercials.
Or 100,000 at least investable. No, I don't care what you have. You might not have anything. You just have worries and questions. Come in, let's sit down, put our heads together. Even if, there's nothing for me to be gaining off of you, I can certainly give something to you, hopefully, and then you're going to tell others what we do. That word of mouth is still, we get more word of mouth people coming in, referrals, than we do from any other advertising source. So it's just because that's the way we do things. You don't worry about what you have. Just let us help you know that it's going to last.
Yeah. And what do you always say? There's a sign on your desk.
Yes.
What is that?
It says, not to spoil the ending for you, but everything's going to be okay. That's how I want you to feel.
All right. Thank you, Dale, for all of your time again this week. 1 hour financial planning strategies and tips for you out there. But if you'd like to get them personally for your exact situation, give Dale a call, 833-856-1382. Folks are standing by to schedule that appointment. There's no cost. There's no obligation. Let us just see if Dale and the team can help you be and stay retired. Thank you so much for listening to Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas. We'll be back again with a full hour once again next week. As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale and his entire team of retirement professionals invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement plan review session. 833-856-1382 is the number for you to call. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your very own retirement review session, complimentary for our valued radio listeners. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees and risk, or how to produce guaranteed lifetime income so your lifestyle and goals don't have to be changed with the ups and downs of the market or taxes? Call Dale Sudas with Sudas Financial and be confident you can retire your way. Schedule your own comprehensive and complimentary retirement review session. Don't just live in retirement, thrive. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. All rights reserved. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. A Roth conversion may not be suitable for your situation. The primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. The information provided is to help you determine whether or not a Roth IRA conversion may be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Please review your retirement savings, tax, and legacy planning strategies with your legal and tax advisor to be sure a Roth IRA conversion fits into your planning strategies.